On this little adventure, me and Gaz are off out wild camping in the deepest of a well-known glen, and we've arrived at this gorgeous little loch. You thought I was going to give it away? Stay tuned. Tonight's setup, I've got with me the Nature Hike Vic Series 1, only weighs in at 1.4 kilograms. It's nice and compact, so it sits in at the bottom of the backpack perfectly fine. It's a single pole tent, straightforward to set up. You just connect the fly sheet to the poles and the end of each pole where it splits into the eyelets, so it's up in a couple of minutes. It's a great little tent. I've had it out in torrential rain, sustained heavy rainfall with torrential downpours. I've had it out in the snow and it's performed brilliantly. Wouldn't take it out in the wind, however. It's got a great little vestibule as well. It's got a little vestibule on the other end as well where you can put your boots, giving you more space to do your cooking here as well. And it's a spacious one-man tent, and I can also sit up in it, given that I'm 6'3". Drink is quite hard to come by with these smaller tents, but it's a spacious one-man tent. So tonight's setup, what have we got? I've got the inner liner microfiber. That adds about an extra Celsius to the sleeping bag, but it also prolongs the lifespan. Plus it's to get down to about 0 Celsius tonight, so what I'll do is I'll just pull the microfiber over my face. It's breathable, keeps the face warm. I've got my Black Eyes G700, comfort -4, limit -10, weighs in at 1.05 kilograms. And I'm hoping to do a full review on this soon, a separate video. I've got my X-Bed down mat, Light 5M, some absolute legend from the live stream, Resident Weevil, thank you very much, highlighted that you've not to store the sleeping mat in its carrier bag. Unlike the Thermarest, we're sure you can store it in its storage bag, the bag that it comes with, but with the X-Bed down mat, and I believe it's all X-Bed down mats, or maybe all down mats, it's to be out the bag, it's to be spread lying on the ground nice and flat. So if anyone's got any down mats, X-Bed down mats, you might want to ensure that you're doing that and not keeping it in its stuff sack. And I've also got with me the Big Agnes 3rd degree. But yeah, that sleeping system really should take me down to -10. Temperatures get down to could get to -1, but over at Tindrum, about a 15-minute drive in that direction. Once you get to the car park, it was like a 2-hour check-in. Once you get to the car park, about a 15-minute drive east, you'll come to Tindrum. Similar elevation to where we are right now. Forecast says 0 Celsius. I don't know, because we're surrounded by these mountains and we're in the deepest of this little glen, it might get a little lower. But if it gets a little lower, setup should more than do the job. Let's go and check out Gaz's setup. Gaz wouldn't do a rundown of the setup. He asked me to do it because he wanted me to give an opinion on his little tent. The Wild Country from Terra Nova Southern Cross 1. As you can see, it's just like the helm. Couple of differences. With the helm, this pole doesn't split into 2 poles like the Vic series. The helm 1 just goes all the way straight down into one eyelet. This one has 2 eyelets on either end. It also, the helm 1, it's a sleeve where the pole goes through. With this one, you attach the inner. The pole attaches to the fly sheets clips using these little clips. The sleeve here is also longer on this tent than the Helm 1. With the Helm 1, it goes up to about here. With the Southern Cross, as you can see, it's further down. It's got a good little vestibule. Gazzy's had this out in about 40 miles per hour winds, and he said it's performed rather well with ease. And what I like about this, if you want to put it out in the winds, it's got an extra eyelet on either end so you can double it up with the poles. Now, Gazzy's sleeping system for this evening, he's got the Rabascent 900. You can take that down to -18. He's had it down to what? -4, -5. Nice and toasty. He's got the Thermarest X-Firm Controversial. Here's where it all kicks off. Might get punched in the face with this one. It's got an R value of 6.8. Gaz is sticking with 7.2. And I love it. Even if it's 6.8, it's still good enough for that Arctic exploration. And he's got a close cell foam mat and 2 pillows, one from Sea to Summit and the other from Thermarest. But I like the little tent. I'd like a tent like this. Maybe try and get Gazzy's Helm 1 off him for nothing. Is it going to happen? Nah, it's not happening. It's not happening. So tell me, guys, let me know what you think of Gazzy's upgrade on the Wild Country by Terra Nova, the Helm 1, the Wild Country Terra Nova. The Terra Nova Wild Country Helm 1 up against the Terra Nova Wild Country Southern Cross one. Let me know what your thoughts are on it, and if you've had it out in some pretty mental conditions. Gaz hasn't had the opportunity to take it out in heavy rain, but we all know fine well it's a reputable brand. This would more than do the job in heavy rain. Right, geez, oh, struggling today. Composure, Monty, composure. What about that? Check that out. We've finally arrived at our destination, Loch Dochard. To give you an idea where Loch Dochard is, it's about 6 kilometres west of Bridge of Orchy, the car park as well. And it's a fine trail, it's a gorgeous walk. You pass through many environments, some forestry, marshland, a good little path alongside the river. And then you finally come to this really shaky, terrifying bridge. I thought it was going to fall in, but yeah, there's a fair bit of bogland as well, and your boots will sink in. Once you get to the bridge, it's about a 15-minute walk and you finally arrive at the beginning of the loch. Plenty of spots here. You've got Gazzy's tent over there, you've got my tent here, you can get another couple of tents. 5 minutes in that direction, there's a nice sandy beach, and just behind the sandy beach is some flat ground. We haven't hiked into the further end of the loch, but I'm sure there's some spots up there too. But you've got some cracking mountains in the background. We're not entirely sure if they're Corbetts or Munros. I think they're Corbetts, but behind them you have mountains. As you can see, the snow level is relatively low. We're about 221 metres above sea level right now. That gives you an idea of the sea level. Now, temperatures around about 8 Celsius during the day. It was taps off when the sun's out, sweltering heat, but when the cloud takes the sun away from us, you can feel the chill in the air, and temperatures are to get down to about, what, 0 Celsius. Tindrum, it's about 50-minute drive east from us. Weather forecast says 0 Celsius. We're at the same elevation as Tindrum, but I reckon we're going to experience similar temperatures. I don't know that because we're in the deeper end of a little glen, what with the surrounding mountains, that temperatures could get a little lower, but I highly doubt it. But we finally arrived here. Me and Gaz has been wanting to come to Loch Dochard for a long time now, best part of a year. But my mental health issues, the instability of the atmosphere has prevented us for a good part of a year now. But we've finally reached our destination and really looking forward to tonight's camp. So that's us all set up. I'm going to send the drone up. We've got, as you can see, we've got a beach so we can have a perfectly healthy fire. And then we're just going to enjoy the night, listen to some music. Stay tuned for that. Did I miss anything? I've got a funny feeling I missed something out. and check this little spot out where you can have a little fire. There's a little fire pit surrounded by stone and larger boulders which you can use as a little seat. The sun's away to bed, there's a bit of a wind chill and temperatures are dropping, so it's time to get a little fire on the go. If anyone's wondering what speakers I use when I go out camping, it's these bad boys here. Tribbit. Very affordable, very cheap, high quality, and you'll be able to find them on Amazon. And tonight's music, what we've got playing at this moment in time, is Manic Street Preachers' Generation Terrorists. It's 9:30 in the evening and that's it coming to an end. We brought some firewood in, but it's been pretty disappointing because the firewood didn't generate much heat and it didn't last very long either. We also had a fire log, but they seem to be going out relatively quickly as well. So we just sat around the fire, shared some stories, organised some future trips and listened to some music. And this music we've had, Sisters of Mercy, Dead Kennedy, Manic Street Preachers and Bauhaus. But yeah, fire's coming to an end. We're about to head to the bed. Hopefully get some photography, astrophotography, amateur astrophotography. We've got some clear skies and the sun is out, but how have you found the evening?
Well, the actual general experience.
How's the general experience?
It's been very good. Always wanted to camp here, always wanted to see this place in person, always wanted to film this area too. Very good for filming. The walk wasn't the best. Couple of hours, but never been a fan of the bog. But it was a nice river or stream all the way along. It was good for filming, like. But I'll hopefully come back here when there's snow. I think it'd be nice. But yeah, really nice place, like.
I'd like to come back as well. But yeah, the walk's really boggy. I'd like to come here in the stormy weather or something, or the snow. But yep. That's us about to head to bed, so...
We need to maybe get a couple of Monroes done here as well, just to see this place from a different perspective.
Ben Starav. I've got the Vango Starav. Ben Starav's over in that general direction as well, just further to the west. But yeah guys, thanks for tuning in. Catch you all in the morning.
See you in the morning.
Bye! We're also having a bit of a disco, as you can see, with the alternating colour change.
Money's going to get his tunes back on once this film's done.
What a morning. Got a good 7 hours sleep, had a cracking sleep, and then when I woke up, boom, frost everywhere. Frost all over the poles, frost all over the tent, the bipod, because the leg's broken so it's no longer a tripod. The bipod is covered in frost, my water was covered in frost, there was frosty bits in my can of juice. Gazzy's tent as well, his tent poles are covered in frost, and guess what, his tent was covered in. But temperatures got down to well below freezing. Now, the emojicons, however you want to call it, said 0 Celsius in the area, but the written forecast, as I showed you on the forecast as a screen recording earlier on in the video, said it could get down to -2, and me guys reckon it got to -2, but to be honest with you, it felt colder, but I had a really warm sleep. That Black Ice G700 has to be the most underrated, unknown sleeping bag in the market. Gaz, who normally has a nice and warm sleep, Gaz said there was a stage, there was a time during his sleep where he got a grin on his face, where he felt the cold. So it was indeed a cold one, but that's me all packed up and ready to head home. My plan is to bag a mountain, I believe it's called Benacroin. So that's my plan. Sadly, Gaz no longer wants to join me. But yeah, that's it. But cheers for watching, guys. Right, guys, so that's me heading. It's really cold. These conditions are not for exposed skin. So that's us off. Feel free to subscribe to both our channels, Monty Outdoors and Gaz the Explorer. So we're off with you all, and I'll see you all on the next adventure.
Bye.
Bye.